Go, therefore, and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe all that I have commanded you. And lo, I am with you always, to the close of the age. Matthew 28:19-20. Shinto was the proud faith of the Japanese people. It was interconnected with the faithful of the archipelago since the earliest days of its history. Kamis, or gods, were worshipped all across Japan, and throughout its history, Shinto has developed and formed into what it is today. During the Tokugawa shogunate, Shinto had already been established as the religion of the Japanese people, and the isolationist culture of Japan over many centuries had led them to be distrustful of foreigners. Even as early as before the 5th century, its isolationist culture was present in its religious development, notably shown through the controversies surrounding the Korean influence of Buddhism within Japan. It was not only the case that foreign cultures were distrusted and even hated amongst the Japanese people, it was also that foreign faiths were hated as well. At the time of the Tokugawa shogunate, it was completely illegal to promote any foreign faith in Japan. Takuma Sawabe was a name of importance in Japan during his time. During the rule of the Tokugawa shogunate in the Edo period, a period that spanned from 1603 to 1868, he was born on February 13, 1834, to a samurai clan that lived in Kochi, Japan. He trained from childhood to become a samurai, a member of the elite warrior class in Japan, warriors who were directly conscripted by Japan's feudal lords, and in retainer under them. Not only was he such an elite warrior, but he was also the adopted son-in-law of a Kannushi, or a divine master of ceremonies, essentially a Shinto priest. His father-in-law was responsible for maintaining a Shinto shrine and led worship of kami there. While Takuma himself did not participate in the Shinto priesthood directly, he helped his father-in-law, and he led a separate group that revered the emperor and demanded expulsion of the foreigners for the security of Japan and Shinto. Members of the Russian consulate in the Hakodate prefecture became a target of their plan for assassinations. Ready to fulfill his duty, he confronted one of these foreign cultural invaders at night. Armed with his katana, he was ready to assassinate this strange foreign man. A man that stood tall and towered over Takuma's own countrymen. Enrobed in a garment that was clearly religious but unknown to Takuma. That man was Nikolai Kasatkin, the man we know as Saint Nicholas of Japan. Takuma's group had planned to assassinate this subverter quickly, before he was able to preach a word of his spiritual falsehoods and poison. But instead of cowering in fear or negotiation or any number of responses Takuma had expected before slicing through his chest, Nicholas instead questioned why Takuma would kill him without first hearing what he had to say. Takuma was intrigued by such a response. He surely hadn't expected a man to approach his potential murderer so calmly and respectfully. So he humored the man. After all, what difference would it make? He'd hear his target's falsehoods and know even more certainly that these ideas had no place in Japan. So, Takuma asked Nicholas to tell him about this Christianity. Nicholas, with reverence and love, recounted what he knew, the story of the Old Testament prophets, Christ God and his death and resurrection, the apostles, the history of saints, martyrs, and the hundreds of years of persecution that the Orthodox had experienced. The more Nicholas spoke to Takuma, the more his words softened Takuma's heart. The more interest he gained towards this fantastical and nearly impossible to believe story. And yet he felt so sure that it was true. He abandoned his effort to kill Nicholas and apologized to him profusely, pleading to instead become his disciple, and Saint Nicholas accepted. Takuma studied under St. Nicholas as his faith and knowledge grew. Soon, Takuma was joined by his doctor friend, Sakai Tokure, in a discussion group and was convinced of this foreign faith as well. They in turn were joined by two more friends, Urano and Suzuki, and so the group of catechumens grew. They themselves began teaching Orthodox Christianity to other Japanese people in secret, still under the threat of what St. Nicholas was once almost a victim of. 3 years after his first encounter with St. Nicholas, the samurai Takuma Sawabe was baptized in April of 1868. He was baptized in secret, with a reader named Bisarion Sartov guarding the door to the room. He was baptized alongside two of his friends, Sakai and Urano. They took the names Paul, John, and James, respectively. These three men became the first Japanese converts to Orthodox Christianity. Soon, governmental suppression and persecution of Christianity lessened, and St. Nicholas sent Paul Sawabe to look at the potential of spreading orthodoxy in Tokyo. Paul reported back that the situation was hopeful, and they began to set up a headquarters in Tokyo. But local opposition to Christianity was still around to an extent, and in February of 1872, Paul Sawabe and many of his fellow Japanese converts were arrested by the local police in Sendai. They began interrogating the local countrymen who had adopted this strange faith. The officials were amazed that even amongst the children, all the Christians' answers to questioning showed a deep conviction to their Christian beliefs. Even though many among them had not been baptized yet, none changed their positions on matters of the faith, but were instead strengthened in it. 3 years later, in 1875, St. Nicholas realized there was a need for local clergymen, and so he ordained Paul to the holy priesthood. And he became the first native Japanese priest ever to be ordained, the samurai priest. Paul's doctor friend, John, also became a deacon at the same time. Father Paul Sawabe continued to serve Orthodoxy as his church grew over the following decades. He reposed in the Lord on June 25, 1913, a year after his spiritual father, Saint Nicholas. His life being a testament to all of the potential for anyone to be saved.